Dr. Pepper call-in line, by the way, is 888-SAY-ESPN, 729-3776. We're asking, who's the best team in the AFC? All right. Let's go. Let's do this. In his return to MetLife Stadium, Sam Darnold was benched after passing for 111 yards and an interception against the Giants. Darnold, who played with the Jets for his first 3 seasons, began his Panthers career 3-0. It's been a familiar feeling for Darnold since then. The Panthers have lost 4 straight, and here's Panthers head coach Matt Rule on why he went from Darnold to P.J. Walker. Here's Matt Rule.
Obviously, I pulled Sam in the game. Just felt like we needed some sort of a spark. Not that anything was necessarily him. I think it's all of them. Hoping PJ would go out there and make a run or do something to kind of get us going. Sam will be our quarterback next week. He'll be our quarterback moving forward.
So far, we've had a little bit of a huddle offense. The benching of Darnold comes the same week. Rumors circulated that the Panthers could pursue Deshaun Watson. Key, are those 2 stories related?
No, I don't think so at all. I think Matt Rule wanted to make a decision. Coaches do this when they see an offense stall and an opportunity to still get back into something. Against the Giants aren't a good football team. Although Daniel Jones was playing well, you still had an opportunity to win that football game. And once upon a time, that game was a baseball score. It was 5-3. So you got an opportunity to still climb back in. And Sam wasn't playing well for whatever reason in that stadium. He just isn't very good. Plus, Christian McCaffrey's not in the lineup. We saw when Christian McCaffrey was in the lineup, Sam Darnold looked like a home run hitter. Now, all of a sudden, it's a long way from 3-0. That's for damn sure, Jay.
Yeah, but is he that less effective without Christian McCaffrey? And
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's the point where you start looking at it. You're like, okay, this reminds me more of the Sam Darnold I saw in the Jets uniform, more so than the one I saw for the first 3 games with the Panthers. And I think that's the biggest question that you have if you're Matt Rule, if your Panthers moving forward, are like, what is this guy's ceiling considering he might make $19 million next year?
Yeah, see, I have a slightly different take on the he'll be fine type quarterbacks than you, Key. I think the league is not looking for those guys anymore. Without McCaffrey, it's like without Todd Gurley for Jared Goff several years ago. Suddenly they're not fine. What I was encouraged by Daniel Jones yesterday was he didn't have Saquon, he didn't have a lot of guys, and he was still fine. But that's what you really need to see, quarterbacks who can carry teams nowadays.
You mentioned Saquon Barkley. Dave Gettleman drafted Christian McCaffrey. Didn't play yesterday. Saquon Barkley did play yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a common theme.
Yeah, maybe don't draft running backs in the top 5 or 6 or 7. All right. The Panthers are on the hook, as you mentioned, for $18 million to Darnold next season after picking up his 5th-year option. Meanwhile, the Arizona Cardinals remain the lone unbeaten team in the NFL after they just squeaked by 31-5 over the Texans. It was a revenge win for former Texans J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins. It's been a revenge season for all for all the Red Sea against Keyshawn Johnson. Let's check in with our guy, John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports 98.7. After the Cardinals' latest win. He's got something for you, Key.
7-0, Keyshawn. Read it a week. 7-0. You haven't believed in this team ever. I've been trying to tell you for years how good Kyler Murray is. I know the Cardinals were on the rise, but you didn't want to believe it. You kept saying, I want one more game, I need one more game, I need one more game. How many more games do you need? It's only 17 games in a season. They're 7-0. By the way, they're going to the playoffs, and they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender, whether you believe it or not. Now, the fans here, look, they don't really like you. Matter of fact, they despise you because you've never believed in this team, yet they have. You keep talking about all those other teams, but the Arizona Cardinals are one of the best teams in the National Football League. They have a chance to go all the way and win the Super Bowl. This offense is dynamic. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't had a 90-yard game receiving this year. They're sharing the wealth, yet he's got 7 touchdowns. He's got a chance to do some special things. This defense with Vance Joseph, let's give Vance Joseph a lot of credit. He should be a head coach in the NFL next year with the job he's done with that defense. Look, I heard you put him number 1 in the power poll, trying to win over some of the fans here. We don't want that. Keep him at number 6, 7, or 8. We don't need your support here in Arizona. The Cardinals and Kyler Murray, your little Mighty Mouse, will take care of everything.
John, I love John. Well, here's what I would say. They certainly went out there and took care of business against the Arizona Cardinals, and they don't want to be number 1. Don't worry about it. They won't be number 1 tomorrow.
Jeez.
I'll show your ass, John.
Don't be spiteful.
No, he said it.
But don't hold that against the team. It's a fan.
No, he's not a fan. He 98.7 Arizona. He's one of the co-hosts of a show in Arizona on ESPN. But what I would say is Arizona's a good football team. And First of all, Kyler Murray's only been in the league like 3 years. So you haven't been telling me how great Arizona is for the longest, right? He said, I've been telling you forever. No, you told me one time last year when we had a bet. But look, Arizona is a good football team on both sides of the ball. Big test for them coming up this week against the Green Bay Packers. Huge test for them this week against the Green Bay Packers.
On short rest. But maybe a bigger test for the Packers who've been beating up on bad teams than for the Cardinals.
Maybe it's a test for them. Maybe it's a test for them. But I can surely tell you that Arizona is a good football team. Now, are they going 17-0? No. Are they going to the Super Bowl? No.
Look.
No, they're not going to the damn Super Bowl.
Are they going to the Super Bowl?
No.
Maybe.
It's a no.
Mark that one down.
Maybe.
Clip that.
No.
Clip that for Twitter.
Give yourself some wiggle room.
No, I ain't giving myself no wiggle room.
This is where
Do they have
loses me.
anybody on that team that has Super Bowl experience?
What does that mean? Getting to the Super Bowl.
After
Playoff
this year,
experience.
maybe.
What does that
Deep
mean?
run playoff experience. No.
All right.
File that away. Ain't that what they say?
The Milwaukee Bucks had nobody on their team last year that had NBA Finals experience.
Okay, we're going to
until they get it.
We're going to leave that in there now.
Wait a minute. The reason I brought up the Packers is I need to play some Aaron Rodgers sound here. Don't you want to hear from Aaron Rodgers on what he thinks of the offensive performance where they beat the Washington football team 24-10? Here is Aaron Rodgers. Remember, the Cardinals and the Packers play in, 4 days, three days from now. Okay, go ahead.
I think we're close. I think it was nice to get Bobby going. It's nice to get Allen a bunch of touches. We didn't run the ball very well. We didn't protect great in the first half. Good front, really good front. 4 first-rounders. But didn't protect necessarily that well. And we had some opportunities if we just hold up a little bit longer on some plays. I had to kind of deal it and get rid of it. So, but I feel like we're close. We got to keep finding ways to get the ball to our guys in space. But when our defense is playing like they did today, we're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
All right. Here on the Huddle offense, Key, we've been huddling. I need to ask you this question.
Yeah.
You have mentioned you're not so sure Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay.
No.
Is Aaron Rodgers done in Green Bay?
No, if our defense continues to play the way they're playing, we're going to win the Super Bowl, and I'll be back next year. I'm just not telling y'all fools that keep thinking I'm leaving.
It's a good front. Good front, you know?
Good front. Yeah. Washington football team, what a great defense. But I shredded them anyway. No, I don't think Aaron Rodgers. I think if Aaron Rodgers wins the Super Bowl, he's not leaving. Anything short of that, yes, he'll probably leave. But if they go on and they win the Super Bowl, even if they got to the Super Bowl, I don't think he leaves.
I've just seen players win championships and leave. Kawhi Leonard. I mean, it happens in the history of the game. I don't know the damn answer to this question. It's something we're going to be trying to figure out the whole year. But, man, that offense looked good yesterday. It did. And when I think about the two offenses that are going to meet them in Arizona, that's going to be a shootout.
I didn't think Washington defense looked that bad. I thought the Packers offense just looked better. But I'll say this. If they win the Super Bowl, Key, I'm not sure that makes him more likely to stay or go.
He's having too much fun, man.
But he would leave on such a high note, winning the chip. Favre only got 1. He got 2.
Yeah, but too much fun. And I understand the argument from people in sports. The first thing they say is, well, Kawhi Leonard left. It was a different circle. Kawhi Leonard never wanted to be in Toronto. He just wanted out of San Antonio. And then when he had the chance to leave to get to his final destination that he wanted to, which was always Los Angeles, because the Spurs were never trading him to Los Angeles. They'd say, we're not doing you any favors. This is different with Aaron Rodgers.
How do you know Aaron Rodgers' ultimate goal is not to be somewhere else?
It's just difficult when you win a championship, Jay, and your team that you've been with for how long? He's been 17 years?
No, 17. He came. Oh, damn! You might be right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't put anything past anybody.
5. Yeah, it was
these
the
days.
2005. Yeah.
I mean, you can't put it past anybody, but just think about it. I'm winning a championship with you. I'm happy. We live in. Everything's good. It's just hard to walk away because you're not going to get anything better.
Yeah, but on the flip side, this will be the last chance maybe for him to find out if there is something better while he can still play.
What's better when you just won the Super Bowl, though?
But it's hard to repeat. Might be easier to find a new location.
But where? With the team that's stacked with the Kenny Clarks, the Devontae Adams, the Aaron Jones. Like, it's just hard.
Yeah, I agree. If you took all the quarterbacks off every team and looked around, who could use Aaron Rodgers and they'd be really tough to beat? Packers would be one of those teams for sure. All right, the Cardinals and the Packers.
Send him to Cleveland.
are two of the best teams in the NFC. Two of the best teams in the NFC. In the AFC, who knows who the best team is? A week after beating the Bills,